Hey Blades fans, welcome back to Hertz Arena for the January 24th clash against the Atlanta Gladiators. Finally back in Hertz Arena after a busy couple of games on the road, Jake. 4 straight wins against the Savannah Ghost Pirates, and the Everblades feeling pretty hot right now.
I mean, yeah, 4 straight wins, tying the season long for winning streak this season, and the ones Saturday, Sunday, they weren't the prettiest wins, but they sure were exciting. 7-4 and 5-2. Special teams looking great. A lot of things to feel good about, but also some stuff to clean up coming out of the All-Star break.
No doubt. This is the last time Atlanta is going to be in Hertz Arena this season, so got to make the most of it. And the Gladiators, they are no stranger to hockey this week, taking a 7-6 shootout victory over the Orlando Solar Bears last night. So they've had a busy couple of hours and looking to, make some more progress and build on a winning streak after that win last night snapped a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, and you've got to get on them early because of that. I mean, they're not skating today. They're tired out from a long game yesterday, an energized game where they left everything out there to get that win. And right now, Atlanta 13 points back of Florida in the standings, 15 points back of second place in the division. So they really basically need to go on like a 10-game heater to have any chance of getting back into the playoff hunt, where they originally at the start of the year when they were last in Hertz Arena, they were the top team in the division. They tumbled all the way to the bottom since then. So this is basically them playing for their season right now. They got a win you can build something off of last night, but they're in a tough situation having to come into Hertz Arena on the second half of back-to-back with not a lot of rest after a very tiring game last night. Florida, they need to get on them and just make sure Atlanta doesn't get anything going for some sort of miraculous run.
Now, not the first games, but the first games here at Hertz Arena without a couple of key players on this Everblades roster. Patrick Holloway now playing overseas in Slovakia, and Cole Moberg on loan to the Syracuse Crunch of the AHL. So the blue line is definitely short on skaters, and that's going to definitely impact this game today.
Yeah, they're pretty much down to their last guys in the forward core, not doing too much better. A couple of key injuries over the past weekend, and Kyle Neuber starting off a 4-game suspension for his altercation at the end of Sunday's match. So Florida, they're stretched pretty thin. They've got some new guys coming down that we'll talk about in a moment, Will, but right now this Everblades depth is stretched as far as it can go. The Blades did good on Saturday and especially Sunday when they were playing with a short lineup, only 16 skaters. They were able to get the win. But now, with even more guys out, more key contributors who are going to be missing, some of them significant time, and in the case of Patrick Holloway not coming back, you just got to be ready to get the next man up, ready to go, step into a bigger role, and contribute tonight.
And you mentioned the new guys that are going to be joining the Everblades tonight. First off is Cam Morrison coming down from Charlotte, but then 2 new faces that are completely new to the Everblades roster this season.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Morrison is definitely the biggest of those names, right? He's been here, he's proven that he can contribute at this level, and he's coming from the AHL. Anytime you get some help from your affiliates ahead of our affiliation game on Saturday, it certainly feels nice to get Cam Morrison back for the Blades. And then the new guys, Evan Boucher coming from Canadian University, and Tyler Coburn coming out of the SPHL's Fayetteville Marksmen. Coburn has some experience at this level. Boucher making his ECHL debut tonight. So 2 wild cards coming into the Blades lineup. They're going to be expected to contribute right away, play some good minutes for the team, but that honestly could work well for Florida going forward because it gives you a real idea of whether or not these guys are just sort of short-term band-aids or if these guys could be regular lineup contributors going into the future.
Definitely needing some reinforcements now as the roster getting a little bit whittled down after a couple of injuries, some suspensions, and some guys going elsewhere in their hockey career. But Jake, the good stretch of wins that the Florida Everblades have had over the past couple of days has not shifted them from 5th place in the South Division, but that margin to a playoff spot has only gotten smaller and smaller. As we speak right now, only 2 points separating Florida in 5th place and Orlando in 2nd place. So this division is up for grabs. Absolutely playoffs on the horizon, and this is going to be a photo finish right down to the end.
Yeah, and for tonight specifically, Florida, they have games in hand on every one of the 3 teams above them in the standings, and this is the only game in the South Division tonight. So if Florida can grab the win, they would move up into a tie for 2nd place in the division, and obviously there's tons of hockey left. Tonight marks the official halfway mark of Florida's season, game number 36, going into game number 37 Friday against Greenville. So this one tonight, if you can get to the halfway point of the season sitting in 2nd place in the South Division, that's pretty good. And then you can maybe look further up the standings and try and close the lengthy gap that the Greenville Swamp Rabbits have on everyone else. But right now, certainly it's best to be at the top of what is going to be, as you said, a very tight race all the way to the end of the season.
We played Savannah 5 straight games last week. This is just a one and done against the Atlanta Gladiators. And then we take on the Greenville Swamp Rabbits here at Hertz Arena on Friday and Saturday later this week. So, Jake, I think it's about time we get into the Griffith Group of Downing Fry Realty. 3 keys to the game.
Well, you want to get on these guys early. As I said before, and we talked about, they played a long game yesterday, a multi-round shootout. They didn't take morning skate today. So it's a group that, at least in theory, doesn't have their legs under them the same way they did yesterday. So you want to get off to a fast start and really bring speed early in your game to wear these guys down as fast as possible and really tire them out. Second off, the games on Saturday and Sunday were certainly fun with all the extracurriculars, particularly the fireworks at the very end of Sunday's match. But a calmer game would be good for Florida in this one, at least on the penalty sheet. You still want to be physical. You still want to stand up for yourself and your teammates. But making sure you don't go over the line quite as much tonight would be beneficial, particularly given that you haven't played Atlanta 5 games in a row, so they're likely not going to be going over the line with you the same way Savannah was in those 2 games. And then finally, the power play's been absolutely killing it recently. I mean, 6 goals over the past 2 games on the man advantage is amazing. Florida didn't even have a 5-on-5 goal in their win on Sunday. The power play just carried the load for the Blades, which isn't something we've been able to talk about much this season, and it's skyrocketing up the rankings. You want to keep that momentum going and have another big night on the special teams, particularly your power play. Florida's going to be in a good spot.
A matchup against the Atlanta Gladiators, a razor-thin margin of playoffs in the South Division, and $3 beers and $3 hot dogs all night. We'll see you after puck drop.